All right, so number 6. Number 6 says use the properties of logarithms to solve, and then they give us some nasty looking thing with a couple different logs in there. All right, well, first of all, just like with an equation, if you have more than one x, I'm going to do a little scratch work here. You don't have to write this down. If I said something like this, the first thing you'd have to do is combine like terms, right? And then you could solve the equation from there. Well, just like you combine like terms with solving an equation, similar idea, we're going to combine like logs, right? So you see we have a log there and we've got a log there. What I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to put them together. Now, there's rules that tell us how we can kind of put these things together. So that's what we have to make sure. Also, we want to make sure that we do this in the proper order, right? So just the whole, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, we always do exponents first. And that's going to actually end up being the same thing here. So there's a log property that says is that if you got a number out front, which we do, right? We've got this 2 that's out in front of the log. We're trying to get everything cleaned up. We're trying to get everything combined. So we don't need stuff floating outside. So we're trying to bring everything in. So what this log property says is that if you have a number that's floating out there out front, what you can do is you can put it back inside the log as an exponent. So what I would do is I would rewrite that as log base 7 of x squared. Right? So a number that's being multiplied outside of the log turns into an exponent inside the log. And then let's just kind of rewrite everything else we got, because I don't see any other numbers floating out front. So I've got minus log base 7 of 3 equals log base 7 of 12. Okay. And now let's get to combining those two logs together. So there's these two logs. I want to be able to combine these two logs. There's another log property that says if you want to put two logs together and they're being subtracted, then that subtraction turns into division. So what that would look like is that this would be log base 7 of, and here's my first term, it's just going to be this whole thing, x squared, minus log base 7 of 3. So what I would do is I would put those together. So my fraction would be x squared over 3 equals log base 7 of 12. So let's make sure we're clear on what that property said. So what that property says is that if you want to put two logs together, you can do that. If those two logs are being subtracted, that subtraction turns into division. Right? So we're almost there. There's a last log property that says that if the logs are the same, the bases are the same, then you drop the logs and solve the remaining equation. It's kind of like what we did back, look at what we did on number 1, right? We said if the bases are the same, then you can just, you almost kind of drop the bases off and you focus just on what's left. So it's really kind of the same idea. What we're going to do here is that we're going to drop off the logs and just focus on the equation that's left, right? Which would be x squared over 3 equals 12. So I've got x squared over 3 equals 12. All right, so what I want to see is I want to see if I can solve this. So I want to get x by itself. It's a fraction. So what I want to do is that anytime there's a fraction and you don't want it to be a fraction, just multiply by what's on the bottom. So I would multiply by 3, right? So if you multiply by what's in the denominator, this is a fraction buster. Bust up that fraction. Now what you do to one side, you do the other side. And now, no more fraction. 12 times 3 would give me 36. So this says what number squared would give me 36? Well, 6 squared gives me 36. So I would have that x is equal to 6. Okay. All right, so go ahead and stop the video now and try number 6 on the right side.